One Piece chapter 1153 just dropped and it changed everything. For years, fans have speculated, debated and theorized about Loki, the mysterious prince of Elbaf with those hauntingly hidden eyes. Was it a power, a curse, a secret weapon? But this week, Oda gave us the answer. And it's not just emotional, it's devastating. The reason Loki's eyes have always been covered, it's not magic, it's not prophecy, it's because his own mother hated him for them. From the moment he was born, Loki was branded not a prince, but a mistake, a demon, a child meant to be discarded. And in this video, we're unpacking every brutal detail, starting with the very roots of his story. The reason why Loki's eyes have always been covered, it's darker, more heartbreaking, and more twisted than any of us expected. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I go deep beyond the surface to uncover the secrets, symbols and stories you might have missed. And today, we're diving into one of the rawest, most emotional revelations in Elbaf history. Because before we even get to Loki, we need to talk about his father, King Harald, and the world that made him. Chapter 1153 opens not with tragedy, but with innocence. A young Harald laughing with Dory and Broggy, a trio that immediately gives off Ace, Sabo and Luffy vibes. And like Luffy's gang, they each wield weapons that define them. But did you notice Harald uses a hammer, just like his son Loki would one day? But back then, Harald was bored, too strong, too big, too privileged, a product of a world that never challenged him until he met Ida. Now Ida is everything Estrid isn't. She's kind, she's sharp, she's real, she's from South Blue, not even Elbaf born, and probably from the same island as Soul. She dresses up like a scary giant to entertain people, poking fun at Elbaf's savage image, and yet, in that satire, she becomes the most genuine giant we've ever seen. When she met Harald, she didn't kneel, she slapped him. And Harald, this spoiled, arrogant prince, felt something new: respect. Their chemistry was electric, undeniable from the first clash of ideals to the quiet moments of understanding that followed. At first, Harald mocked her views, dismissing her non-Elbaf upbringing, but Ida stood her ground, challenging his assumptions about strength, about legacy, about what it means to be a giant. What began as a verbal sparring turned into mutual curiosity. They travelled together, debated politics over firelight, and watched the world beyond Elbaf with a shared hunger for change. Harald started reading human philosophy because Ida recommended it. Ida began to understand the burden of royal blood. Over time, their partnership became more than respect. It became foundation. And slowly, together, they dreamed of something bigger, uniting all giant kind. Built not on dominance, but difference. Slowly, together, they dreamed of something bigger, uniting all giant kind. But of course, Elbaf said no. The elders wanted pure blood, royal blood, and Ida didn't have it. So Harald obeyed and married someone else. Estrid. Let's talk about Estrid, because if you thought Big Mum was a bad mum, yeah, this lady might take the crown. Estrid is elitism incarnate. She walks like royalty and talks like a tyrant. From the moment she enters the castle, everything changes. The bright halls that once echoed with laughter now fall silent under her oppressive glare. She orders the tapestries changed, demands silence at dinners, and treats Harald like a subject, not a husband. The staff tiptoe around her. Even Harald himself begins to retreat inward, slowly losing the open spirit he'd once cultivated with Ida. Her rule is cold, efficient, and merciless. And when she gives birth to Loki, it's not a celebration, it's a scandal. She sees his eyes and doesn't hesitate. To her, he's not a child. He's a blemish, a threat to the image she's tried to build. She hates anyone who isn't pure. She reshapes Harald's castle, rules, even how he lives. She gives birth to Loki, and the first thing she feels isn't love, it's disgust. Loki's eyes, those two terrifying, glowing eyes, reminded her of everything she wanted to erase. So what did she do? She tried to erase him. She threw him into the underworld, not metaphorically, not emotionally. She literally hurled him, a crying newborn, into the roots of Yggdrasil itself. This wasn't abandonment, it was attempted execution, and it wasn't done in the cover of the night or in a moment of weakness. It was deliberate, calculated, symbolic. Loki, the cursed child, was sentenced to die beneath the Tree of Life, the very heart of Elbaf's mythology. Where Odin once hung himself to gain wisdom, Loki was cast down to be forgotten, and the visual horror of that moment his tiny arms reaching upward, his eyes already filled with tears, and the mid-full frame frozen in despair carries the same emotional weight as Robin's burning O'Hara or Sanji's cage. The underworld wasn't just a drop, it was a message. You were never meant to exist. A baby, alone, powerless, left to die beneath Yggdrasil. But Loki didn't die. He climbed, he fought, he killed a giant bear on his way back up. He survived, and that's why he covers his eyes. Not because of shame, but because those eyes carry the curse his own mother placed on him. She hated him for them, wanted him dead because of them, and now those very eyes have become a symbol of his rebirth. Let's be real, this is peak Oda, because if you think about it, Loki isn't alone in this. He's one of many One Piece characters born cursed. Chopper, Sanji, Robin, Frankie, Brook, all monsters in someone's eyes. So maybe, just maybe, Loki's not cursed at all. Maybe he's Straw Hat material. Luffy was drawn to a cursed sword without blinking. He sees the soul, not the label. And that might explain why he'll eventually reach out to Loki. Not to fear him, but to welcome him. There's more too. This chapter teases world-shaking lore. One of the biggest revelations is the confirmation that the blood-soaked serpent refers to the red line, a concept hinted at long ago in Little Garden. Dory once said that only a snake soaked in blood could survive their attacks, and now we know that Elbafians use that imagery to describe the red line itself. This isn't just a metaphor, it might be the literal form of the great serpent we see on the Elbaf mural, wrapped around the New World, biting its tail in a cosmic cycle, the Ouroboros, a symbol of destruction and rebirth, of the end of one of the world and the birth of another. And right at the center of this is Harold, who dances in the Na, a move that echoes the spirit of Nika, the sun god. Whether Harold is conscious of it or not, his ideals of breaking borders, uniting nations, and rediscovering what was lost mirror everything we've heard about Joy Boy and the world that existed before the flood. Loki inherits this legacy, not just biologically, but thematically. He is a child born of tragedy, raised in shadow, and perhaps destined to help reconnect the world as it once was. The red line as the blood-soaked serpent, the Na dance linking Harold to Nika's ideals, the idea that Loki, this outcast, could be the key to breaking the world's borders and returning us to the world before the flood. If Ida had been Loki's mother, we'd be looking at a very different prince, the only one who ever truly appreciated his existence, and who knows, maybe she's still alive. The mystery voice on the Denden Mushi could be her. But for now, what we know is this. Loki covers his eyes, not to hide from the world, but because the world, starting with his own mother, couldn't handle what they saw. He is the cursed prince, but in a world like One Piece, curses are just misunderstood powers waiting for the right crew to unleash them. So what did you guys think of this chapter? Is Loki about to rise as one of the series' most powerful symbols of redemption? Drop your thoughts below. Hit like if you felt that pain, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives like this.